I hate remakes. They are painfully lazy films, taking mostly wonderful animations and turning them into soulless corporate products so the suits don't have to commission something new. It's easier to recycle. If something like Stitch comes out, it's simpler to make because the script is ready and it's trivially easy to sell, since everyone knows Lilo and Stitch. That's why such a weak film has made $647 million at this point. As you can see, good reviews aren't hard to come by either because somehow the film has 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. How? I don't know. But if people like it, then you have to keep making them. Mass production is practically required. For this same reason, Disney has already made Cinderella, The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Mulan, Pinocchio, The Little Mermaid, Peter Pan, Snow White, and now Stitch. Together they've earned at least $6.34 billion, just to put it in perspective for you. That's almost 30 billion Polish zloty. You'd be stupid not to do this. And the DreamWorks isn't stupid. DreamWorks, despite being late to the party, knows how to play the game. They made absolutely iconic films like Shrek, Puss in Boots, Kung Fu Panda, and of course, How to Train Your Dragon. Fantastic animations that I've been analyzing on my channel for years. I couldn't miss their first live-action adaptation. I was fucking curious how they'd approach it, whether they'd make the same mistakes, whether How to Train Your Dragon would be destroyed like the Disney productions I mentioned earlier. If you ignore the aspect that the whole process of making remakes is fucking lazy, then the live-action dragons are actually pretty good. Yeah, the animation is still better, and I don't know why. As a viewer, I'd watch the new version, but if they're going to play this game, they're doing it competently. I'm surprised, but I also have quite a few complaints. Quick question. Does the new film understand what the original was really about? Because if not, then why even do it? Because yeah, if you're making a remake of an animation, you have two approaches. Either you do everything one-to-one but with actors, or you try to make something completely new based on the same source material. The directors of the live-action How to Train Your Dragon decided on something somewhere in the middle of this scale, so the film obviously tells the story of Hiccup, a boy living in a Viking village that has been fighting dragons for hundreds of years. The guy is considered a failure because he's never killed a dragon. During the film, he meets Toothless, with whom he begins to form a friendly bond. Through this friendship, he manages to defeat the final boss, convince his father to change his mind, and basically introduce a completely new way of life to the island of Berk. The story is actually identical. We get the same shots, most of the same jokes, and basically do it one-to-one, but remove some scenes and replace them with completely new content. Snotlout's storyline also got expanded. In the live-action version, he has a more developed relationship with his father. He's also a disappointment to his old man, but through the final battle with the Red Death, Spitlout starts being proud of his son. They changed some relationships between the kids, cut several scenes with Toothless, added one fight scene, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, practically everything new didn't work for me. How to Train Your Dragon is primarily a story about the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless. They're the most enjoyable to watch. It's for this duo that we follow the story. Every scene with them in the animation is thoughtful and serves a purpose. They don't bond immediately. First, they have to get to know each other, and that takes time. In the film, unfortunately, some moments were cut out and replaced with, for example, Snotlout's storyline. Why? His storyline is literally the same thing Hiccup goes through with Stoic. On the beginning, disappointing father. On the finale, father not disappointed. I don't understand the purpose of repeating the same thing twice, especially since you can feel this storyline was forced in. And because of this, you get the impression that the young man's getting to know the dragon was greatly accelerated. The film doesn't stop to spend some time with them, and after practically 5 minutes, Toothless lets himself be petted. There's also no important scene of just chilling after the flight. That's when Hiccup first noticed, hey, this dragon isn't an exception, they're all like this. He understood that dragons are friendly by nature. The appearance of those little critters was therefore very important. In building relationships, those normal moments are important where the characters just lie around or sneak into the village and fool around. The film kept mainly the epic moments, and because of that, their relationship suffers. Oh, and you know what else they cut out? I won't forgive this. Do you remember that scene from the original, where Hiccup says over wounded Toothless, I did this? And at the end, Stoic says the same thing over his wounded son? We really want to fix them. Father and son say exactly the same sentence, and despite it being only 3 words, they carry enormous meaning. In both these moments, the characters admit to their mistake. Hiccup hurt Toothless, and Stoic hurt his son. It's a great narrative bracket. From the moment when Hiccup doesn't fit into the Viking world, to the moment when this world begins to change under his influence. And can you believe they cut this out? This is one of the most important motifs of the film. I still have to complain about Gobber, definitely the worst element of the film. In the original, his unkind words to Hiccup came from wanting to help, but not really knowing how to put it into words. So harsh things came out, but you could see he didn't mean it that way. In the live-action version, because of how Nick Frost played him, I get the impression that Gobber specifically wants to tear the young man down. I don't feel care from him. More like a desire to mock the boy. He's mean and rejecting. He's far from the animated version. Hey, but alright, because I keep complaining, and I said this film was good. Well, that's true, and I kinda don't know how to approach this. Disney got us used to the fact that even when they have a great original animation, they mess something up. Even when they practically change nothing, it still comes out like crap. In Lilo and Stitch, I really hit hard on how they lost the island's atmosphere. Instead of Hawaii, we got a vacation resort. Instead of beautiful animation, we got a boring picture. DreamWorks approached this differently. First up, they took the film that's most suitable for a remake, because most of their animated films use 3D technique. And besides, How to Train Your Dragon, despite being animation, is very grounded. I mean, there are no fancy musical elements, no stylistic game. There are just Scandinavian atmospheres, which is something you can easily deliver in live action without losing so much of animation's magic. Additionally, the film was shot very beautifully. Interesting shots, nice scenography, great dragon CGI, colors that match Gloomy Burke. The music is fantastic. In short, the film looks very nice. The rest is a copy of the original, so there's not much to complain about. How to Train Your Dragon still flows great. The scenes that gave you chills still remained. The first flight gave me shivers again. The final battle still kept me on the edge of my seat. This is good family cinema with an instructive story that moves you to tears. Both kids and older viewers will get the lesson. It's sick that DreamWorks with their first film basically schooled all of Disney's live actions. It looks like they can learn from others' mistakes. So, does the new film understand what the original was really about? Yes. And in my opinion, that's the most important reason why this remake, despite its flaws, works. Because even though some scenes were missing and Hiccup's relationship with Toothless was somewhat rushed, the emotional backbone of this story is still there. It's still a film about trust, about how hard it is to overcome your own fears, how difficult it is to be the different one, and how much one good friend can change. My final rating for How to Train Your Dragon is 7 out of 10. Is it a perfect remake?
No, but damn, it works.
It's lazy because they barely changed anything, and when they did want to rework something, it came out worse. But the original is such a fucking amazing piece of cinema that it's hard to completely screw it up. Disney remains far behind, and only when the film makes money will we probably get a flood of shitty remakes from DreamWorks. So let's enjoy them while they're decent. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my next film analyses.